Welcome to the Ware School Committee for Wednesday, September 10th, 2025, regular business meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry, I'm just muting.
It's okay.
If I don't, mine will go on. Approval of warrants and payroll. Warrants and payroll for Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. Do we have a motion?
Make the motion to approve warrants and payroll for Wednesday, August 13th, 2025.
Say August 27th?
August 27th, I'm sorry, I referred to that. Yeah, August 27th, yes.
Okay, thank you. Second?
2025.
Second.
All in favor, Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself, Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Warrants and payroll for Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. Do we have a motion?
Make the motion to approve warrants and payroll for September 10th, 2025.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself, Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Approval of minutes for Wednesday, August 20th, 2025, regular business meeting. I'll make the motion to approve minutes for Wednesday, August 20th, 2025, regular business meeting. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself, Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Next, we will move on to the report from the superintendent.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Glad to be here. It's a little cooler in here. This is nice. We've had a great opening. All the schools are well staffed. We only have, I believe, 4 positions left that are open, and that's spread around to all 3 schools. And we're working aggressively on those. The principals are really attentive to that, and so I'm hopeful that we will have those filled as soon as possible. A lot of energy in our 3 schools, which is great. Students have energy, teachers have energy, and it feels good and positive in the buildings. The schools did go through a inspection with town officials, and I think a number of you attended that as well.
Yes.
And our Director of Facilities, Bill Alderman, is going through the punch list on those items and tackling the remaining items still. Transportation has worked well. I know it was a little later on the posting to the website, but I thought that the bus team did a fabulous job. I think we only had one mishap that rose to my office. Maybe some others were within the buildings, I'm sure, but so that's, I think, knocking it out of the park. So I'm very pleased with how everybody works well together to make that happen. Enrollments look steady. We're about where we were last year, maybe a few less. We're still enrolling students, but we have a total of 1,067 total students, and 395 are at SMK, 420 at the junior senior high, and 252 at the middle school. So we're doing pretty solid in those classes as well. These numbers will change slightly because after we do the SIMs and clean up any errors that get reported back because students have moved or moved in, and we don't have the correct LACID or SACID. So these numbers might change slightly, but I'm not expecting major changes in any way. Our athletic teams have started. There was a nice write-up about our Ware soccer team in the paper, which was nice to see that we get good coverage. It's great encouragement to build confidence for our teams, which is nice. I've already started meeting with town officials. I went to a town department head meeting with all the town officials. And also we started a conversation, or we continued the conversation about the chiller for the high school and the junior high here. There are some fluctuations in cost for that, so that has changed. So that's getting nailed down by the engineering firm that worked with us last year for town meeting. And so we will have another vote for additional funds for this fall town meeting. But so bids will be going out, a second round of bids will go out in October, roughly the first week of October, for plans that they'll be back by the first week of November. And hopefully they will be within the range of what they're now expecting for the total cost, which is now about $650,000, which I think is slightly more, about $150,000 more than what they...
For both schools?
This is the chiller just for this the system.
Okay.
And that includes an add alternate from soups to nuts to make it brand new instead of reusing pumps.
Gotcha.
Because there is a concern that with a newer system, the pumps that we have, while working fine, may not be effective with a new system. So they have it as an add alternate. Well, this conversation led to, there are a number of items that I think the school committee needs to think about in terms of getting onto a capital plan for the town. We need to look at the roofs. I think you had some conversation about this at your last school committee meeting. We need to talk a little bit about the fields. Both the baseball and softball field have some drainage issues. And these are things that, as part of the plan, might be 5, maybe 7, 10 years out, but they should get into a plan so that the town is aware of them, so they can, with the school department's assistance, plan out a town meeting that could actually vote on them and work with our facilities department to get that done. We have Kit Stomp is open and up and running, but we need to have a lease agreement with that organization, and so I'm pulling together the necessary documents to do that with their managing organization that runs Kit Stomp, and I've met with those particular individuals as well, so we'll be bringing a lease to you to review and sign, or authorize me to sign. The food service team is fully staffed for the first time since 2022, and I know there were some challenges last year with personnel, with staff, and so I think that really pleased Mr. Nichols to be able to have a great start to the year, and so that's really good. I don't know what the conversation here was during the spring in the district that I was working in. I talked a lot about the big question mark out there is food services for financing it for next year, so this fiscal year. And he's already been notified that the grant for entitlement funds for USDA will be lower, but he hasn't been given an amount, so we don't know exactly. But he doesn't seem that it's going to be too large of a decrease, but I think we need to pay attention to that. I've started up my leadership meetings with the principals, and I've divided it. I'm having 2 different groups. I have the leadership team, which is just the principals and the instructional directors to talk really about the direction of the instructional work that we need to do in the district. And then what I call an operations team, which I have everybody, food services, facilities, just so that we can have a through line of communication about all the issues and matters, because everybody needs to know about them, even though they may not oversee them. So, if we start having to adjust menus, for example, on the food services, the people who are going to get the calls are the principals and the secretaries in the front office. So, we need to make sure they know about what's going on so they can explain it and have some nominal information about what's going on. And we just had our first operations meeting the other day as well. And then lastly, I've also met with the union officials in both large unions here, our Teamsters for our paras and custodians, and then the MTA representation as well. And both are ready and willing to work with us, so felt good.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Any questions?
Just one quick note specifically for Bill Alderman with his list. Do you know if he's made any headway with the curtain in the middle school that's old?
I will have to ask him that specifically.
Last time I saw him, he said he was having trouble finding a vendor.
Yeah, that's
because
my
of like
memory
the
as well.
size and the tracks, because it's so old. It's
Right.
it's original to the
I
building.
don't know, do you know, Kim? That's what, yeah, so I'll get an update on that.
Okay, great, thank you. I know that was kind of the biggest thing on his list. Everything else was kind of small, so.
Now, the USDA entitlement funds, like free lunch, free breakfast, that's the type of money? Or do we get that money more from the state?
That's more from the state.
Okay.
This is more about the actual food products and
Okay.
that we get.
And I believe we also had a first fire drill.
We did have a first fire drill, and we have begun discussions on the lockdowns as well.
Good question. Bullet number 10 talked about a strategic plan. Is that a strategic plan that was carried over from last year, prior years, or are we going to kind of revisit that? Or
So, it is the one that was approved by the school committee, I believe it was last spring, or maybe even a little slightly earlier. And so that's the one that I'm working from, but I do think that one of the pieces that to me appears to be missing is a piece around sort of the direction that all of that purpose and all those action steps need to point to. You know, what are we doing that all for? And so who is the typical student that will graduate from Ware High School? And so in some of our lingo, we call it Portrait of the Graduate. And I know that that would be work that I would like to see us do so that we can see that all of those steps and all of those pieces really point to the success. And so we would map out who we think, or what we think are the attributes of a graduate from Ware High School. And an element of that is we really need to work on our graduation requirements or graduation expectations. Now that MCAS is no longer a piece of that, and we can make the decision that we want it to be, because as of now, MCAS is still going to happen. But we need to, formally vote on what we want to have happen. So guidance on that is supposed to be out by the end of September. So I'd like to work with folks to convene a group that will start that conversation. And I think it's all the same conversation. Since we're talking about a graduate, we should talk about graduation requirements. So I think that group, with community, parents, students, members from the school committee, you can, be a part of that and help lead that conversation. But that work really needs to get done pretty quickly, because while we don't need the graduation requirements for this coming year, we can still use MCAS if you take a vote on that specifically and just say it's for 1 year. We should, try to have that work done as soon as possible in the early spring.
thank you.
Any other questions? That brings us to new business, and we'll circle back to graduation requirements and CAS. I put that on there because we at some point have to, and to do it in January, February is not fair to anybody. I know this year we're sort of locked in if we vote that way, but for the future, we should figure out. I know the state's coming out with something. The problem with that is the state usually says, I'll have something by the end of September, and no offense, but sometimes you don't know which September they're talking about. That they sometimes will drag it out for a couple more months. So I just figured we should start looking at it, talking about it. It sounds like you want to have a subcommittee, which is fine, perfect. And we can, when we're ready to do that, we will do that, and then we can bring it back to us to vote on. Whatever we come up with. We may want to tweak some things as we have in the past. I'm just throwing this out there of, I think we've talked about what's passing, what isn't, grades, and what you need to have for number of credits for each I don't know if we would redress that or look at it, but we could.
I think those are components of things that we do need to discuss. There's a lot that happens really K through 12 in terms of getting to graduation. Simple things like 9 through 12, if we have students who don't pass 9th grade, so they're already going into 10th grade and they're still 9th graders. If that continues, then oftentimes those are the students that seek to drop out at some later point or change schools, and that's not what we want. We want all of Ware students to come to Ware High School. And so I know that in talking with the principal and the assistant principal, they're concerned about grading practices, or they'd like to firm up grading practices to look at ways that we can capture all students, as soon as they're done, as soon as they're into the 9th grade, so that if they're struggling, they're not going to fall so far behind they can't catch up.
So I wanted to say a couple of things about the graduation requirements, and it's kind of like a bigger picture, if you'll indulge me. So one of the reasons that MCAS and tests like it even exist was to remove the subjectiveness from grading. Some teachers grade harder, some teachers grade easier, etc. And so they tried to make a literal standardized test based on standards to take the subjectiveness out of it as far as grading goes. So as we move forward, every indication I've got is the direction from the state is going to be, okay, you're not going to use MCAS, but kids have to pass 10th grade, ELA, some kind of algebra class, some kind of science class, and then some kind of civics class. And it's going to be up to individual school districts to determine which classes they offer are the graduation required classes. That's all indication I've got. I could be wrong.
I concur that.
So what we have to be really careful in what we're doing is we have to make sure that we are offering the best instruction possible to our students, because if the hope is for our students to go on to college or career, we can't lowball them. We can't throw them a softball and say, okay, you're going to pass this class and go graduate and go live your life. I guess all I want to say is, in this subcommittee, when we are trying to figure out what we're going to do, we have to make sure that we are hitting that sweet spot where it's not so hard that only the top 10% of our student body can pass it, but it's also not a softball. So we've got to make sure that we hit that sweet spot really, really well. And we also have to make sure that the grading practices are in place, where if we offer 3 sections of this 10th grade ELA class the kids have to take to graduate, that they're all not trying to get in this one teacher's class because they know they're all pass, but the other 2 teachers grade really hard. We can't have that. We've got to make sure that it is consistent, because if we want our kids to go on and be successful, and again, not everybody goes to college, and that's great, but if we don't offer the best, and then we send our kids off to college, they are caught completely off guard, and they are unprepared for what they face in college. And I don't know if we have data that shows us where graduates that did go on to college that actually graduated from college, and how many of them took a semester or 2 or a year and then dropped out, because that is going to be a huge red flag that what we're offering isn't good enough. So I don't know if that data exists, if we get that data, if that...
We have data. We used to have a section on the website called Where Are They Now? W-A-R-E, Where Are They Now? So I think you could find it, but I don't know why we stopped doing it, but people, students have come back when they're in college or new careers or in their 50s or 60s, so that's us starting. But I think if we kind of bring that program back,
Right, but that would be voluntarily reporting. I want everyone. I don't want just the people that did great to be like, look where I am. I want to know out of the hundreds of students that we've graduated over the last 5 to 7 years, like, did they go to college and did they graduate college? Or did they go to college and realize, I am in way over my head because I wasn't taught what I was supposed to be taught?
Well, I mean, we're gonna have to rely on voluntary data at some point. I don't know if we can call up schools or have the resources to call up colleges and say, hey, report on these students. I mean, we can't, you asked for some data, so we have some data. How we're gonna get the other ones, I guess that's up to the
All right.
superintendent.
I mean, if the data doesn't exist, then the data doesn't exist, but, I mean, I guess my overall message is, MCAS existed for a reason. I am not a fan of MCAS, for the record. I think standardized tests are bogus, but it did serve a purpose. It gave everyone a level playing field and took the subjectivity out of it. So, moving forward, I just want to make sure that we are giving our students the best and that it is consistent across the board. That is all.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on to cash management. Our policy seems very small. Two small paragraphs.
Actually, the policy that's published is not the policy that we approved in 2014, so somehow...
That's what I thought
Yeah,
when I
somehow
looked at
got-
this, but I couldn't find 2014.
Yeah, so I found it through an email, and I also found an email from our minutes, and Mike Brown can pull it from the archives, but went all the way back there. But we had voted on that, and, Julie and I were on
I remember that.
the committee to get everything over to the,
I see.
yeah, so somehow that got missed. But we do have an approved policy, we can certainly revisit it. I did circulate it out, I believe.
Can you resend that? Because I didn't. I got the email you said, but
Yeah, like
there was
recently.
no attachment or something, at least on
Did you get a
mine.
copy of it, or?
I don't recall it, but did it go to Katie?
Yeah, I'll resend it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought I saw an email, but I didn't see an attachment. I did see the town's policy from the treasurer, but
But I thought we did do something pretty extensive.
Yeah, we did.
So-
We had an audit.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it was Andy's company that came in and basically put some I think at the time, there was always this procedures versus policy dynamic going on. We wanted to write the policy, and then the school or the administration wanted to write the procedure, and then we're not supposed to be involved in the procedure, and blah, blah, blah. But we did have a policy, so...
All right, we'll start with that.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at that. We'll start with that and revisit it and make sure it gets into our policy.
yeah.
And then we'll go from there as far as we need to tweak it. Next, this is a little bit of housekeeping. I just wanted to go over the Mohammed decision. That came out about the time of ICE.
Mahmood.
Mahmoud, sorry.
That's all right.
It came out about the time that we got information and stuff on ICE, and we went over ICE, took care of ICE, and voted on something. We were going to come back and visit this, and we never did. Mahmoud versus Taylor. Do you have one? Do you have
I
it?
do. I thought she put it back in there. Did she not put the print?
There you go.
Do I have this? Yeah. So basically, this is a case that was in the lower courts for much of the year before last, and then last year it rose to the Supreme Court. In summary, what it does is it allows parents to opt out of any courses or activities that use LGBTQ plus materials that infringe on their religious freedoms. And so our attorney provided us this summer, at some point roughly, to give us a document that is essentially an opt-out worksheet for parents to complete, just so that it's on record, and they're basically attesting that they have those those religious practices that they don't want infringed upon. And then once they file that, it's between the teacher and the principal and the parent to make a decision about how they're going to address the goals and the standards that were being trying to be taught as a result of the materials that were chosen.
So we don't have to vote on this.
You do not have to
Because
vote on it.
it's
This is the law.
And we're just making everybody aware of it. The people that would mainly deal with this, correct me, would be principals?
Primarily, I mean,
Yeah.
most likely what I would envision happening is a parent would raise the question with the teacher because the student came home and raised a concern about materials that they were being asked to read or use in a particular lesson or a particular unit of study. And then the teacher would probably have a dialogue about what's happening and what the materials are, and maybe a discussion about alternatives. And if the parent felt like she or he needed it recorded or codified, they would ask for an opt-out from that unit of study with those materials, and then the principal would get involved to have the parent complete these opt-out forms, and then work with the parent and the teacher to come up with an alternative plan.
And where do we find the forms?
They're right here.
The forms
I know
will be
that,
online.
but
The forms will be
Where
online.
would a parent find the forms?
They will be online.
Online,
Yeah.
okay. Any comments or questions?
Oh, I have a lot of comments
Okay.
about this. So, first of all, while this Supreme Court decision was based around inclusive materials, so for anybody that's not familiar with this case, it's based out of Maryland. The Maryland School Board voted to include at least 5 inclusive books in the curriculum, K to 12, in which characters of the literature have disabilities, might be members of the LGBTQ community, might be parts of marginalized religions, etc. And before they could even launch the program off the ground, before they even read a book, a group of parents used their right to opt out, which is fine. But then they weaponized it. They spread it on social media, and hordes of parents then opted out of this program. To which the school district replied and said, you're not doing this because you don't want your kid to read these books. You're doing this because you don't want anybody's kids to read these books, which is not the point. So they took away the parents' right to opt out, thus triggering a lawsuit under the First Amendment, which is fine. So the lower court ruled against the parents, and then it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court voted that not being able to opt out of material that is contrary to your religion is against the First Amendment. They made that decision based on a previous case. So the precedent they used for this is a case from 1972 called Wisconsin v. Yoder. And that case was about Amish students that were being forced to go to school past the 8th grade. And that was something that the Amish people did not believe was what they should do. That past the 8th grade, they do the Ram Shtukka, they do their thing, and then they go on with their lives. So in that case, the Supreme Court held that the Amish people had the right to pull their kid from school after 8th grade should they choose, and not be held to the laws that say you have to send your kid to school. Like, we're not going to go after you and file with DCF because you're not sending your kid to school because it's based on religious precedent. So if you read the dissent written by Justice Sotomayor, she basically points out that they have taken a very broad brush to this idea of religious objection. And they have very cleverly, the people that took this case did it very cleverly, have seized the moment of where we are politically in this country, and they have used LGBTQ children as a weapon and said that we don't want to know that these people exist, and we don't want our children to know that these people exist. And therefore, we are going to make it, we can't ban the books, because we've tried that, and that didn't work. So instead of banning the books, we're just going to make it nearly impossible for public schools to read these books. That's what we're going to try to do. So I just want to make it clear that, to my knowledge, our school district does not have LGBTQ books as written into our curriculum. So people that have been standing by the bookshelves just waiting for a reason to pull these books off the shelf now have an excuse to do it. And I don't think that's fair. This ruling does not say that these books cannot be in our libraries. This ruling just says that it can't be part of a lesson unless you have told these people about it. So I want to make it clear to all of our teachers that you don't have to be afraid to talk about these issues. People with disabilities, LGBTQ folks. And if you are, like me, a member of the LGBT community, this does not say you don't exist yet. They're getting there, but that hasn't happened yet. Because technically, if I were a Buddhist, I would fill this paper out and I would tell my student's teacher, if you have anyone in a book that is eating a hamburger or a steak, I want to know it, because I have taught my children that eating beef is a sin. So I want you to go through every book you have ever read and make sure that my child does not see an image of someone eating beef. Which, as you can all believe, is ridiculous.
Well, I have some
I'm not
comments
done.
on that, too.
I'm not done.
I would like
I'm
to-
not done.
I know.
I'm not done.
I want you to finish.
Good, because I will. This is the first step in a very slippery slope that makes it so that, and this is not your problem, so I don't work for you, but in my job in Springfield, I'm a science teacher. I am one ruling away from not being able to teach students that the Earth is 4.5 million years old. One ruling away. I am 2 rulings away from not being able to be a teacher at all, because I exist, and their parents don't want them to know that I do. So I just want it stated for the record that I understand why these documents are written by Adam. I understand that it is a ruling by the highest court in the land, and it cannot be overturned without another ruling to overturn it. I understand how the law works. I am just trying to make it clear that we as a community need to make it known that while we support parents and their religious beliefs, we do not support it being weaponized to keep these messages out of the hands of all children. Just yours. Like, if you don't want it in your kids' hands, fine. But you can't stop other kids from hearing these messages. That's it.
Aaron?
No, I think that was very well said, and
Thank you.
And I agree that I think there's this notion that this law, legitimizes the exclusion, and I just want to let folks know that even though there's a political argument that's like that, we don't have to view it as such. There are certain things already now that folks are already allowed to opt out of, and it's all done in the name of plurality, diversity, etc. It could be dissecting live animals. It could be all sorts of things, which to some people is not a big deal. To other people who are claiming a religious belief or something like that, it could be offensive to them. So I don't think we have to do it, because you're right. This in no way should be viewed as something that says that a person doesn't exist, LGBT. I mean, this is a district that was run by Dr. Beach and Dr. DeLeo, who were, a part of the LGBT community. They were supported by us. I mean, Dr. DeLeo and I were like tied by the hip for many, many years. So I think this community can be proud to say that it never demonstrated any type of that as far as we were able to do in, openly, and as far as policy. So I think, I'm with you with that 100%. And I don't want people to have fear or feel that this is a thing that is going to stop anything, because it's clearly not. I agree with that too. It's not going to stop it. This is an opt-out. So this is basically saying the school is going to proceed with its curriculum decisions based on guidance from the state, based on teacher input, etc. There may be some material there that folks that are claiming a religious, or doesn't even have to be religious, traditional religion. It could be modernist religion, spirituality. Like for example, like you can opt out of saying the Pledge of Allegiance because you believe, you have some certain political beliefs, and you don't have, so that's allowed today. So this is just being viewed in one way. We can view it as an extension of that. Whether or not folks agree with that, that's a different story, but that's a part of the pluralism of the society that we live in. I think kids will go forward, students will go forward, they have friends, they have relationships. It's a personal thing. It's not like the school is going to announce publicly, we're opting out. It's a private, personal thing that a parent would take upon themselves, and for all they know, their students or their kids could be friends with students who are in the LGBTQ community, and for some reason that kid's not in the class and they're still friends. We don't have to bring in the politics in here and say, well, you know why that? So I think we as a leadership team recognize that, and it's our goal, because it's the given and it's a part of the law, unless we're talking about civil disobedience or something. I mean, I know Maura Healy is very open about her position on this. In no way is she advocating that we, disobey the law or anything like that. In fact, she's had these very strong arguments. Which you can't deny our need to be concerned, but there's a political element too as well that I just want us to make sure that we're not. That can't be the driver of this, and it clearly does not have to be. And so I'm just trying to integrate to say that there are spins on this that are accurate and some that are not so accurate on both sides of the fence. And I think that we don't have to play into that or give into that. This is all about the dignity of our students, of our staff, our community, and that will never be changed. And we don't need politics or social media or anything like that to influence that away from that. I mean, that's a fact. We're all human beings. We all have our differences. We live in a state that recognizes it more than others, maybe not in Maryland. We do have a religious community, and we do have constituents that, we have two Catholic parishes, we have non-denominational churches, we have Buddhists, we have Wiccans, etc. This is all engendered to kind of protect that. And so I just wanted to say that as well.
Anything else? Old unfinished business. Did everybody get Mr. Bateman the banner advertising update report contract? I'm going to table it because he's not here tonight, in case we had any questions or anything for him, so we will table it for the next meeting. I will send it out to everybody, just in case you did not get it.
I think for the next meeting, we just need to be prepared to name a point person that will work with the vendors and take ownership of the banners, storage of the banners, putting up of the banners.
Well, I believe it's the maintenance department that takes care of putting them up, taking them down. That's what they've done in the past.
Right, so in the past, we would have taken money directly from those vendors, and now we're saying, no, go and have your banners made.
We're only
Pay-
taking the money
pay
for
the vendor.
what you could call a rental fee.
Right, we're only
Right.
taking the money for the rental fee, so we need to know who is going to be in charge of collecting those fees. And then so if Big Y goes down the street to K&M Design and has a banner made, and then brings it to us, who they bring it to, who they pay.
We have to.
So I just want to be prepared with that so we can finally put this to bed. So it's
Nail
fine that we
those things
table
down.
it. We got to make sure we have those things ready so that the next meeting, we can vote on it, this is how it's going to work, and then we can actually check that off our list.
Perfect.
And I think it also, I did find that email with the policy, so I sent it to everybody. But I think we will need to also say that this is our approved policy, and this, or if we want to revisit it, it's at least in place that this whole process can be subject to. And, obviously, Mr. Wood, you can, validate that, et cetera, so.
Perfect. Future meeting schedule, we are going by the warrant dates, so that would put us on the 8th and the 22nd for October.
At 6:30?
When's the open house?
I believe that's the 24th.
24th, okay. So they will be at 6:30. We're doing the 24th at 7 o'clock because the open house ends at 7, and there's no sense starting the meeting at 6:30 with a half an hour left for the open house.
On the 24th, we're going to start at 7?
Yes. In other words, to accommodate the fact, it's either we change or the open house changes. It's always been that way for the open house, so we might as well just change ours to 7 o'clock, half an hour.
No
And
problem.
that way, if we come early, we can wander the halls and check things out. Comments and concerns of citizens. 15 minutes, 3 minutes apiece. Let's be respectful. Let's deal with subjects that are in the scope of authority of the school committee. And state your name and if you're a resident or not, for the record. And I think we're good. We're good.
Hi, Jessica Murphy, resident. To be honest, this is a clarifying question, which I understand might not get answered, but I'm still going to throw it out there. In terms of the opt-out forms, so I'm a teacher in a different district. I teach history in that district, and this has not been a conversation at all. So my clarifying question is, this whole thing, is this messaging from DESI that you're getting that this has to be implemented? Is this just where?
We got a communication from our attorney on, I believe it's June, the end of June 2025.
Your school will probably.
It's sort of like housekeeping.
The room
We
was
just,
okay.
I
we
said,
just
it's
had
purely
to
just
put
a
it out there,
question
discuss it.
because,
We're not voting.
yeah.
Because it's nothing we have to vote on, it's just the law, just making people aware of it. It's
Okay.
just like when we did although we did vote, when we did the ICE, as to what our parameters were going to be and what we were going to, as far as, comply with that law, or direction we were getting. And so it's more of a housekeeping thing than that it's like, everybody's going to get something in an email. It's just housekeeping that we're just
Not
trying
all-
Like
to.
Still got
every
it either.
district in the
Right.
state? I'm sorry, what did you say?
Not everybody here also knew what it was. I had to
Yeah, because like I
In the
said,
last
like I
25
teach
years,
history, and
I've done
religion is so
research.
embedded in history that, like I
I'm
said,
sure
and
your
I
school
never.
is a public
It is a
district?
public school,
Yeah,
yes.
I'm sure you'll, sooner or later, depending on, probably come from your attorneys, but it was a
Okay.
recent ruling, I guess, and it's just
Right.
kind of making its way out.
Okay.
So when it does come up,
Springfield
we
already
just want
has
to
an
put it out
opt-out program.
Do we?
We do. I think it comes down to the urgency at which people wanted to tell parents that they could opt out
Oh, I see. Okay.
versus just letting it go through the news cycle.
Okay.
So I feel like some people really wanted parents to know that they could opt out, and some people don't care to get that message out.
Yeah, I'm just concerning because, like, if you're looking at the standards, I teach sixth grade. It's human evolution, it's ancient civilization, so that's polytheism, so the belief in multiple gods. Those gods typically are very gender fluid. So I'm concerned about the impact that this is going to have because that is 6th and 7th grade history. You cannot opt out of an entire year of history per the Commonwealth. But thank you for answering because I didn't know that.
Jessica Rowan, resident. I'm here again asking investigation. Been a while. I think it's the right of the townspeople to hear about the investigation that went on with Dr. Lovato, and I think it's the right for your staff members to know and have it out and let them read it. I know you said it took a while, that we were waiting to get a superintendent back in here. It's been a while. I do just think it's the right for the taxpayers to know, especially us residents that have come meeting after meeting and concerned about our school system, and fought for all of this, I guess, and put things on the table. I think you have teachers still in these buildings that lived through this for a whole year. I think it's their obligation to get that investigation and have you guys put it out so people can read it. Any comments on that?
Comments and concerns.
Well, the last reason we gave is because we had a lot of other balls up in the air.
And we still have a few.
I know that we do.
And you know what the bottom line is? He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. There were also, there's information that would come out that would allow certain unsafe acts from someone who's no longer here, they're gone, to go against those people. And those are people that are not, those are people that are probably friends of yours, neighbors, people you work with. And in a sense, it's not going to change anything. If people are looking for, and I'll use the word fodder for Facebook, they're not going to find anything juicy because they can probably, and I know you're making faces over there. I totally see that. And I know everybody wants the juicy gossip and everything else. But you know what? Some people have the right to be protected. And anything that was criminal, if there would have been, would have gone to the state. We wouldn't even know about it. It wouldn't come up in there. It would have gone to the state. As far as I know, nothing went.
Taxpayers paid for it, we lived it, you owe it to us.
You know what? If you want to say something, please come up to the mic, because no one can hear you and hear your comments in the background. I paid for it too. My taxes pay for it. And in this state, taxes are high. I'm one of the
Who says we
first
got
ones
it?
to complain about that. But for the juicy gossip, it served a purpose. It served a purpose. Let me tell you, until we reached the end of that, and until he had his final interview, there was no conversation. And let me tell you, a lot of conversations came from his side of the room when we were getting to the end. It served a purpose. It was not a waste of taxpayers' money. It served a purpose. And I'm going to finish first before anybody starts making comments, please. It served a purpose. There are things in there that are probably going to give him an opportunity to go after citizens in this town. Citizens in this town, family, friends, neighbors. Not necessarily people in this building. That for once, let's think of other people and think of them. Because I've given this a lot of thought, and it's worth it to keep people safe, keep people from being sued. If you want the right term for it, being sued, being dragged into court. And there was a target list. Let me tell you right now, there was a target list of people, a lot of people that are in this building that were on that target list, and several other buildings in this district that were on a target list. And that is gone away. It's gone away. But we provide the information that is in there. That's not going to change anything. It's not going to change anything. He's gone, he's gone, he's gone. Why give him an opportunity to go and hurt people more and more? Let's forget it. We need to focus. We need to focus. I know you're making faces. I know you think, I know what you're thinking. And you know what? You have the right to your opinion. You have the right to even give me the middle finger if you want. I don't care. Because you know what? I know you're upset. I know you're upset. Everybody has the rights. Everybody has the rights. Well, you know what? There are people in this town that also have rights to be protected. And I guess that's where I'm going with this. It's where I'm going with this. And this is not really what I wanted to go with this or go this way. But you know what? Sooner or later, why do we need to know? We should be getting up here and not worrying about the investigation. There's nothing to hide in that. It's not going to change anything, though. It is not going to change anything. It is not going to bring him back. It is not going to, well, it's not going to make him go away because he's gone away. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone.
So-
And I don't know why we keep circling this up and bringing this up.
Well, I think the reason it keeps coming up is because it was dangled for a while. So I just want to make sure that our messaging is clear now, right? So like before it was the investigation's not done yet, and then it was the investigation is done, but we have all these other balls in the air. And so I just want to make sure our messaging is clear. Like have we decided, or have you decided as the chair, or however you want to word it, that it will not be released so that people stop asking? Or
Probably not be released at this time because there is really still a lot being done. And you know what? We need to stop worrying about what happened. He's gone. What happened? What happened? I understand people have been through a lot, but do we really want to bring those memories and churn that up and then everybody starts talking? Do we really?
Right, I mean, the effects are long lasting, so this isn't just he's gone.
Oh, no, I understand that. But
I was asked in the first place, you said that they were changing names, so names weren't going to be out there,
Well,
and that you would be releasing it.
Well, if that's the
People are
point,
asking.
if that's the report, then more than likely we can do something. But the report that has names on it, I strongly suggest that no one gets hurt in this town. No one gets hurt, because it would hurt. What's
Nobody
that?
wants that, but you said originally
Well,
that
no,
it's going
people,
to be changed.
but people have been approaching me and saying, we want the whole dirty facts. We want everything, all the gory
Well, that's
details.
not what we're asking,
That-
because you said that you were.
I haven't even looked at it yet. I haven't even looked at it. No, I'm serious.
Okay.
I have not looked at it. It is in an envelope in a filing cabinet for the executive summary, and I have not looked at it. Why? Because many balls in the air. I spent the weekend working on a waiver for the state that even 10 o'clock at night, I think I sent it to you, so you could give it to Katie.
So just make sure our messaging's clear here. No one on this committee, if Brian hasn't read it, because he's the only one who received it, none of us have seen it.
No, I've not shared with anybody in the committee.
I have
will say
not-
that. I will say that.
Have
And I'm not trying to hide it.
Have
I
you?
wish I would.
Okay.
I would love to see it.
Julie, have you seen the investigation? Have you seen it? None of us have seen it.
Okay.
Okay?
Then I
So
will-
I think
I just
I
want,
will read it,
clear
I will scan
messaging.
it, and I will move it out.
The clear messaging that we have to set the record straight is that there are some things that just can never be revealed to the
Yes.
public.
Right.
Just plain and simple. So, doesn't matter if you paid for it, doesn't matter if you write for it. Maybe at point A, in the time, that was the anticipated objective, but certain things can happen, okay? Everybody knows what an NDA is. I'm not saying an NDA applies, but you can hypothetically imagine that if an NDA was signed, geez, you can't force us to. You got to stop coming here asking us for that. Trust me, I would love to know, and I think we would love to share it. I'm sure, maybe one or both parties would love to share it too, but I don't know the details, but I wish I did. But all I know for a fact, I've been doing this for many years, is that there are some things that I don't get to know about, and there's some things that clearly the public doesn't. So for anybody to come here and think that, like, just because they're gonna, make a stake or protest and doing things to get information for us, we can't do that.
I don't think that's what they were trying to do. I think they were trying to follow up.
But people, right, all I'm saying is that you've been heard, you have been heard, and we understand that the public wants this information. Okay, without saying it, you said you want to be clear, the truth of the matter is, if we're not giving it to you, chances are it's because we can't. No matter what we say, I don't know if Brian's looked at it or not. I know I haven't seen it. I don't have a whole lot of, I know, but I don't know that for a fact. All I know is that I haven't seen it. I would love to see it. I would love to have that conversation that we're supposed to have, but we're not having it. Okay, so I've accepted that as a school committee member. I hope the public can accept that too as the public. And
So
I pay for it,
just to wrap this up, we either need to say that we're going to work on some kind of redacted form of this that we will release, or we're not releasing anything. So can we just say that we're
I
going
do
to?
wish to consult with legal, though.
Okay,
Exactly.
great.
I've always been saying, where's the lawyer? Okay, yeah, we need the lawyer.
So-
He needs to tell us in person and educate us as a school committee and as a community, or he doesn't.
So, Brian, can you say, and I mean, if you want to talk to Adam, that's fine. If you want to pass this off because you got a lot of things going on, that's fine.
I will talk to Adam about it.
Can you just say that by next meeting, you will have a definitive answer, whether it is we will release
I
a
can do that.
redacted copy,
I
or
think
we
we
will
should
release
release that
nothing?
all. I think we have a moral and ethical obligation to protect the people that came forward, to provide their testimony, to provide their concerns. And I do not want those people's names out there. I don't care who they are, right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm going to come right out and say, I think we have an obligation to protect those people.
There was supposed to be another option, much like the audit, the special ed audit. One that goes to the public, one that...
I get it. I completely get it, but
So
I
just-
mean, if
well-
I was in there or if somebody else was in there, I think, those people would really appreciate their...
And it's not just this, it's not just the people
Right,
here
but-
and the attorney.
Right, but right now it's-
two parties, it's not just them that have to decide. So
But right now, it's all conjecture. I think it's a great idea
Right.
for Brian to talk to Adam and say, we know we don't want to release this in its entirety, so our options are redacted or not. And if Adam gives the recommendation to not release it, I am fine with that.
That's what we do with it.
If he says you could totally do a redacted thing and that doesn't violate anybody's privacy, then I think we should do that. So I think if you say that by next meeting you will have one of those two options as our final answer, I think then we can all move on. But I just feel like it's been dangled for a while, and we just need to make sure that we say flat out, there will be no disclosure, or we will release a redacted copy. And I think then we can all just kind of put that, like I said, check something off the list and leave it, not have it hanging
That
out
being
there.
said, and I'll let you speak, just one more thing. I have a thought, and I don't want to lose it. That being said, I think we need to move on. We need to talk about students, kids. We need to move on. We need to stop about worrying what's in there, what happened, what came out. We need to move on. We need to move on. We have a new superintendent. We need to move on. And we need to start talking about, I don't mean to be disrespectful with this word, kids. We need to talk about them. We need to do things for them. Whether it's graduation, whether it's a banner program to try to get more money in here, or the fact that we have some capital projects and we have some handbooks that are coming up, and I'll deal with that in a minute. We also have dress codes. We also have, we need to talk about them. We need to talk about how are we going to change things around. This talk about tweaking the strategic plan. I'm all for it. It needs to be made more realistic. considering what we've gone through. It needs to be, and we need to start focusing ourselves on the students of Ware. And what is, we could make things as easy as pie to graduate kids. And we could have 100% graduation. We could be the top one in the state, and everybody comes to us and says, what did you do? But we're not doing these kids any service. The fact that, do we make the courses super easy to pass everybody? But that doesn't do anybody that's going to college, and that doesn't do anybody that's going to be out in the workforce. Because if someone that can't deal with basic math, when they go to figure out how much do I need to build a deck, that's a disaster. And they should be able to have basic skills, and it's our responsibility to make things better for students. And I know I'm up in the pulpit in the church, and I know this isn't Sunday, and I know I've been preaching, and for that reason, I will come down from the pulpit, and I will let this young lady at the podium go on, and hopefully you haven't forgotten your comments, and I'm sorry, but sometimes when I get on a tangent, I go on. Thank you. Go ahead.
Sometimes?
Sometimes? Most of the time. Thank you, Erin.
Allison Byron, resident, and I kind of did lose my train of thought in that, but...
That's why I always write it down. I always have a pad. I always write it down. Take your
so I'm
time.
going to wing it a bit.
Take your time.
I know you want to move on, but we are going to go back for a minute.
Okay.
And I just want to first off by saying the teachers in this district have never stopped putting the kids first. Just want to say that. As far as the investigation goes, I'm kind of shocked that none of you have read it. I would assume at least you've read it. That's just my opinion. I was not part of the investigation. I was not interviewed. However, I have been contacted asking for any course. Oh, actually, I'm not going to go there. My concern with Mr. Lovato being gone, I'm so happy, and we're moving in the right direction. I'm happy with the last month, the steps that we're taking. Mr. Wood, thank you for joining us. Is that when you do a Google search, just a quick Google search, Michael Lovato, the first couple things that come up is being the superintendent here, and the racial slurs and that I don't even know exactly what happened. The letter, I guess, that was found on his vehicle. I honestly don't know much about it. I just heard a lot around town. I didn't know anything about it until I walked in the school committee meeting the day it was brought up. And that's like one of the first couple Google searches. And that's just a poor image on our town. Because I've heard nothing else since that. And I don't know if that was part of it. I don't know if that was part of the investigation. But yes, he is gone. But it's not forgotten. And when you do a quick Google search, he still has, I think, on his LinkedIn that he's the superintendent here. I hear that I hear that he still is in communication with a lot of faculty in this town. So yes, he is not physically here, but he is not gone. And we do need to move on 100%. And I think there needs to be some type of statement, because the town, I have friends, I have my neighbors ask me, hey, what's going on? I don't know what to say to them. I know just as much as they do. And so there are a lot of questions up there that not only staff have, but parents and just taxpayers have. And we do deserve something. This town deserves something in order to heal. There's no way to go on and heal until you have closure. So I mean, that's just my comment that I want to say. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. The only comment I'm going to make is the best way to heal is to go back to what we need to go back to, and that is concentrate on students.
Deanna Horn, resident. We have never stopped thinking about the students from day one.
I know the teachers haven't. I know there's a lot of people that haven't.
But also, that's not saying we've got to move on. We're moving on, but 2 years, even before last year, before the vote of no confidence, all the virtual meetings that were had, I was present at every one. I heard all the lies that he said, and you can't speak up because what's he gonna do? Like, and then being here at every meeting, he would say, well, this teacher said this, you can have mark my word, but then you talk to them outside, they never said that. He had so many lies. He made a mockery of our school, of our teachers. You have people in our town that think like, well, the teachers are just whining. Like, but you can't speak up for yourself. So this investigation just, it validates like that we fought for a reason because he was lying. Now he's gonna he's done this at how many schools and he's going somewhere else and probably doing the same thing. That's what it's about. And like, yes, we know we're still paying him too, so that's another frustration. Like, it's just, we get it, we have to move on. Obviously, you don't wanna you wanna keep people's personal life personal, and but it's also just the things that have gone on and the lies that have been told for so long. That's where all the staff's coming from. And the staff that left due to this, that's what's like making it hard for us to keep forward for the students.
You're right.
Any comments?
Yeah, I was trying to say before that the people that are sitting here, the attorneys, we're not the only ones that make the decision on this request. So even if we said, yeah, guess what? There's some other parties are involved. They have to say yeah too. And maybe they're not saying yeah. I mean, so we can't go into the details, and all I know is that it's a public knowledge that the issue was spearheaded by, there was Dr. Lovato, and then there was Amber. So, they're not here to weigh into that. So, it comes as a surprise to me that people are saying that he's still here or engaging him. I guess that's unusual, but I mean, I don't know if we can control that. But, I find it hard to believe that there's nobody else engaging Amber either. I mean, I know that she had a lot of friends, so, I mean, they were both recipients of the study. I mean, it's not...
Well, that was a separate issue. That was the Title VI thing. That was something different. They're talking about the investigation.
Okay, well, see, it just goes to show, like, I'm so confused about it as well. But the bottom line is, we're not always going to get the closure that we want, unfortunately. I mean, I wish that I could. It is public knowledge that he, what was the announcement? That he had, he's out on FMLA. Right?
With a medical issue.
Right, and then he's not coming back.
And then he resigned.
What's that?
And then he resigned.
Oh, and then he resigned. And then it's public knowledge that the whole purpose of the last year or so, or, the coming here was to have us, have him resign. So that's been accomplished. I wish we knew all the details, but we don't. And at some point, whether we get closure or not, we do have to move on. So I agree with Brian. That's what we're trying to do. But, just hearing that, people are still talking to him, like maybe they should be talking to him, coming here and telling us that, I mean, that doesn't really help the healing process because, I want to move on too. So I don't know what else to do. But I know that if Brian has that action item to go talk to the attorney, I just hope that if we're going to do that and we come back, he comes back with the answer.
We'll do it.
I'm going to accept it. I hope everybody else accepts it, and I hope we really can start moving on.
Just a sideline,
Hopefully we get the
just a
closure soon.
sideline. If he's talking to people, we can't stop that. We can't stop that. If he's talking to anybody that's sitting over there, we can't stop that.
Just Murphy
We can
resident.
just tell you you're wrong if you are talking to him, but we can't stop
It
that.
just feels like it is not understood how much damage was caused within, like, specifically the staff, but also the parents that, have been fighting for this to make sure their kids are in a safe place with a great education. It feels like you're telling specifically the staff to just forget it and move on, and it's not being acknowledged, the damage, and for some of them, the trauma that this has caused. And I think that is also creating an additional level of hurt within the community.
You don't think we went through any trauma? You don't think the phone calls?
I think it feels like sitting over here.
I'm just saying, you don't
I know
think
it's just you guys out.
that anybody sitting here
I am
went
acknowledging
through
that.
the same thing, if
It
not?
feels like from what you're saying up here, that is how it's coming across.
Right, because
Forget
he
it and
didn't-
move on.
he
Not like,
didn't
I'm sorry you
lower-
guys were hurt. I'm sorry you had to go through this. I'm sorry
I'm
you're
sorry,
still
everybody
dealing with
went through
this.
this. But
It is different, though, because he didn't lord over, I mean, I was here for a very short time. He didn't lord over us. He had no power over us. But he wielded his power in an unnecessary and hurtful way to a lot of these people. And for so long, they were trying to speak up and say something is wrong, and it was dismissed or unheard or lied about to try to cover it up. And at some point you start doubting yourself, like, am I the crazy one? Am I like, and I feel like what they're trying to say is, and I'm not trying to speak for anyone, but I'm just trying to paraphrase here, that, we went through this, we came to work and did our best every single day under the most stressful of conditions, and all we want is for someone that isn't us, like someone that has looked at this situation and said, you're right. He made your job really hard. He lied about X, Y, and Z, and you're right. What you went through is not fair and not right, and we just want you to know that you weren't the crazy ones, that this actually happened, and we recognize it. Because these teachers did, under super stressful conditions. They showed up every single day, they did their best, they served the kids, doing more with what they had than maybe was even possible. And I feel like to say we need to move on is fair, because we do need to move on, because we have new kids in front of us and all of that. It is fair, but at the same time, you can't unring the bell. The bell has been rung, and it's part of our history. It's part of the fabric of what we're doing here. And to some point, this investigation serves as a talisman of that being recognized. That, you could have gone down this path that was all sunny and rosy, but instead, you went down this dark and thorny thing, and we want to recognize that you came out to the other side, and good for you, because it was terrible. So I just want to say that yes, there's no choice but to move on. Time moves on. We have new students. We have new material to teach. All of that, yes. But I think, I'm just going to say it one more time, if we can give the faculty and the town and the families and high school students that went through this, if we can just give them a definitive answer. No more dangling, just there will be a redacted copy or there will be nothing, and we're moving on. So if you could just do what we said, talk to Adam.
That's what we'll do.
Find out, because I would prefer the redacted copy as long as it doesn't violate anybody's privacy or put anyone at risk. So if the document can be redacted in such a way that still gives information, it's not just a bunch of black lines like you see on TV with the CIA, but if it still has information in it, okay, let me just start over.
I still don't think it's appropriate.
If it is,
It's not appropriate.
if the redactions are going to take out any pertinent information, then it's not worth releasing. That's all I want to say.
I'm sorry.
I understand you've got skin in the game, and it's okay.
You don't need that. It's
But-
just like, yes, there was evidence of this, no, there wasn't evidence of that, and that's all you're getting. You have other people that are accused of things.
Yeah, we don't even need, transcripts of interviews. We don't need that.
Yeah, we don't need that either.
We just need,
No, This is besides my
and
skin
I'm
in,
gonna say
hold
this.
on, besides my skin in the
Go
game.
ahead. Go ahead.
Want to go down that road again?
Well,
We
I'm
can.
just-
We absolutely can.
Let's keep
I'm
it simple.
talking about the individuals that came forward that aren't protected by our separation agreement, right? Like, we've had members of the community that came forward or had claimed they had come forward. This wasn't just involving staff members, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
It involved a lot of people
It involved a lot of people.
from a lot of different areas.
We understand.
So we
and I
have
don't want
people
that,
to
but
protect.
Just say, no, we're not
From a
doing
leadership standpoint,
Yes.
absolutely, this would be a no. If I was the one making this decision, this would absolutely be a
That's it.
no 100% of the time.
it. That's all we want.
I think the
You
other
know?
thing that is
Absolutely.
frustrating to people is that it feels like we've been played.
Right.
Like, he
had an FMLA all of a sudden when this was gonna come out. So it, like, if the investigation proved that there was wrongdoings and he was gonna be let go, then his FMLA medical thing, whatever it is, which, you know, got him out of it, scot-free. And now he can do whatever he wants, and we're just gonna you know, like you said.
Well, I think you're making a lot of assumptions on FMLA. You can't just take an FMLA as if it's like a vacation. You have to have a reason. So I think he said he had an FMLA for.
We can't get into that.
Yeah, we can't.
It's a personnel issue. Right.
We have to stay away from that, Aaron.
I'm only talking about what was accepted.
Right.
So, like, why are we saying, well, that's his ticket?
That's what we're going to find out next
That's
meeting.
it. That's it.
I'm a no.
We'll see, because he's going to come back, and
I'll
he's going to
stand
tell you
firm on
something,
that.
and we'll see if that's going to be good enough. I really hope it will, because nothing we've said so far has been good enough, period.
In the very beginning, you guys said that you will release it, that things will be changed.
You know what? Can you come up to the mic so everybody can hear you? Thank you.
So why people keep on asking, and I will tell you, as much as you people have people asking you, I have people coming, because obviously I will get up here and talk, because I'm not afraid to. But you, Brian, have said from the very beginning when all this was going on that this will be released and that wordings will be changed to protect people. So
Well, first of all, I didn't say the wordings would be changed to protect people.
well,
I never said that.
things will be
So
lined out.
don't
I'm
answer
sorry.
me, please.
So people's names will be not in there, so people won't know who said what, whatever, but something will be released about the investigation. Hold on, guys, hold on. It will, okay? Am I the happiest person that Dr. Lovato is gone? Absolutely. We are happy. Do I feel bad for this staff? Absolutely. Have I stood up here and fought for the staff? Absolutely. But now, when people come up here and ask, you say, we can't release it, we can't release it, nope, we can't release anything. Stop asking, stop asking. Yes, we are taxpayers, absolutely, just like you guys are. The four of you hired him. The four of you extended his contract for 3 years.
I
How
did
do you
not.
think- Okay, I'm sorry,
I did
Mike.
not.
Okay, so the
I'd like
three
to
of
point
you.
that out.
I'm just going to point
So-
this out.
It was not
It was
me.
the search committee that put him in the final three. It wasn't us. It wasn't us. Yes, did we vote? We're not
Search
ones that made
committee
him the
consisting of
finalist.
the
Okay,
folks that
so
were.
what I'm saying
It was
is-
actually people
Let's
in the
talk
town.
facts if you
It
want
was
to talk
students,
facts.
it was parents, it was teachers. So it was a group. So
Okay,
don't say that
and you
it's
said you had
all
the
on
final.
us,
You had the
please.
final, and then you extended his contract for 3 years or 5 years, whatever it was. We are just asking for closure. I feel awful for these teachers, and do you know how many teachers have come to me and said, hey, can you get up at that school committee and ask for the investigation? Because you know what? They're hurting. They're hurting. They lived it every day. You guys live it on Wednesday. You live it during the week because people are calling. Give me a chance. Give me a chance.
We
just
lived
like
it
you
7 days
said.
a week, trust me.
I understand that. So,
Trust me.
but they can't get up here and ask that, because you know what?
Yelled at and did all
Because
kinds of stuff.
people are going to go after them if they ask this, because there are still people friends with Lovato. So they don't want to get up here and ask this. So this is why we're asking tonight.
I
And
will
you've heard
check,
from other
and
people.
I will have an answer at the next
And thank you,
meeting.
Mel, for straightening it out and understanding where we are coming from. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
That's what I'm saying. I would prefer it didn't.
Just say no, that's all. That's all. That's all.
But you know what, the fact that, I'm just going to say this and then I'm moving on. The fact that he's gone, to me, proves that you guys were right.
Well, okay, so then just tell
But they
us
need to
again.
feel validated, Brian.
They need to feel validated.
Right, and I understand that.
But there's
I'm
an
not
old
saying I
saying,
don't.
and I'm going to end it at this. Be careful what you wish for, because it could come true. And with that saying, we move on to communications, we move on to other business. I just got a couple things for other business. Can we have the cell phone and the dress code surveys resent back out? Because we wanted to include teachers and students at this time of year before.
I'll
we go on to
double
this.
check, but I thought they went live on the
I
first
can't
day of
remember if they
school.
did or not.
No, I don't think they did. I think something got lost in translation.
Yes.
So if you could confirm that Mike got my email with the diagram for the dress code, and if he didn't, I can reset it to him, because I wanted that diagram included, because it wasn't there the first time around. Thank you.
And we need to just have Ginger take a quick look at the athletic handbook so we can finalize that, probably at the next meeting, maybe.
Really, we just need her to look at the Title VI and Title IX sections.
Yeah, just to,
But honestly,
it should be fine, but
most
just
of
to
the
have
wording
someone
is
else
from
cover it.
MIAA anyway. It's not wording from Mr. Bateman or Slattery or anybody else. So
Yep.
I think it's above board,
Okay.
but just to have her look at it, because next meeting, we would like to also check that
Off our
off
backs.
the list. In case you
to
didn't
go
notice,
with
I
that,
like
Mr.
lists,
Wood, I think
and I
had
like
a-
to check
inquiry
things
early
off.
on about the boosters and whether or not, I think we're referencing the boosters in there.
Yeah, we're gonna keep the wording for the boosters very minimal, because they are not,
No, I understand.
They are
but
not-
we still need to lock that down, because there's a policy that we don't have on that, and whether we need one or not.
so basically, there's
says
gonna
we
be a
don't, then
sentence
that's
that
fine.
says the mission statement of the boosters, and
Yeah,
that's about it.
It's an issue that's
because-
not really related to that. It's strictly on our relationship with the boosters as an entity that we've had for, I don't know, the last 20 years, I guess. So really, if we're going to start over and we're going to do it, we really need to lock that down and make sure that we're geared and positioned for this handbook, for future fundraisers, et cetera, and we really need to lock that down to make sure that it's appropriate. So I don't know if you have a
That's
chance
fine, and
to
Mr.
talk
Swartz
to the
planned on
attorney.
being here tonight, but he had another obligation. He plans on being at the next meeting, so.
Awesome.
With Ginger's sign off on the Title VI and Title IX, and I've gone over it extensively. I know that Mr. Bateman, Shammy, and Slattery also went through it extensively, obviously. I asked feedback from Mr. Swartz for it. I feel like we've had a lot of really skilled eyes looking at this, and I feel like it's a really solid document. So I feel like we can also check that off our list next meeting and get that taken care of, which I think is great.
It's a live document. It's not something that
Oh, no, but we just need to get,
can be changed if
Oh, for sure.
as we go down the road.
For sure,
It
but
can
we've
be
gotta get
changed,
something.
modified, but we've got like something more than 2 paragraphs.
yeah, and don't let
Quarter of a page.
perfection be the enemy of progress. This does not have to be a perfect document
As
for
we
us to
come up
vote
with
on.
things, we can modify it, and
I love that.
at least we have something that is far better than what we have now.
Yes. Oh, just to prepare you, the big sticking point on that is going to be athlete attendance the day of a game, or the Friday before any weekend games. So just be prepared as members to have your thoughts around, do they need to be in school for the full day? Is it the 4-hour thing where they have to be here, like how a half day counts as a full day? So like, should it be 4 hours? Should it be the whole day? Should there be any exceptions? So just kind of have your mind wrapped around that, because that is going to be a sticking point when we vote for it.
Is there anything we maybe should be highlighting the time we have the meeting to vote on it, like that, and some other things, or?
Yeah, so there needs to be time to discuss the student
Okay.
attendance policy. There needs to be time for Mr. Swartz to share his thoughts about the boosters if he feels like the wording that is there is not adequate. Like I said, I'm going to keep it pretty minimal, because they don't have any allegiance to us at all. They are a booster club. They raise money and give money to us out of the goodness of their organization. Like, they don't have any obligation to us at all to give us money.
No.
It is an
That's the
organization,
reason why we want to protect that organization with the proper policy in place.
but we can't protect them. They're not part of
Well,
us.
then, we might have to protect ourselves. I mean, I sent a sample policy out, so I don't know if folks looked at it, but if you look at what's in there, we don't have anything like that. Do we want, if the attorney says we don't need it, I'm good to go.
Yeah, because we don't need it, because if they tomorrow decided we don't want to be boosters anymore, there's nothing we can do about that.
That's not the issue I'm trying to, I'm not worried about that. So if you read that sample policy, if you just, like, what's the word you said, entertain me. Just run it by the attorney, please, and see if he says anything. If he doesn't, then I think we can conclude that he doesn't have a concern, and let that be put in the minutes that we were advised by attorney not to do that, and I'm good to go. And this is something that...
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Can you resend it to me? Because sometimes they get lost in several different
Sure.
emails.
I sent
and
it
that way,
to you as well.
Yep.
and
you said
that
you would
way,
look into that.
it's
So, I mean,
clean.
let's get it
It's
on the
easy to find.
agenda, because
Yes.
the last thing we want to do is get a green light and then find out down the road that it was really a red light. And that's all I want to make sure that that doesn't happen. We have a lot of momentum here. We've got to hit this and dovetail on every section, or at least rule it out with some advice from council.
Definitely. That being said, I will make a motion to adjourn at 8:26. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Make it official. We are adjourned.